Okay. My name is Bruggeman. I worked for KLM for 42 years, and I worked in all variants, parts of the maintenance, shops, hangars, line station outside the country, and I'm a member of a union for almost as long as I live with KLM. And I started within AEI in 1986. And AEI was then a small organization. And since 1996, I've been the general secretary for almost 22 years. And my activity in AEI started when there was no Part 66, no JAR 66, but we were interested in AEI because we've seen the threats that industry makes on the existence of a license for an engineer. And that started my interest in AEI. And I found out that AEI was actually the only organization worldwide that was dealing with this problem. We saw the industry wanting to get rid of the engineer because they want to get rid of a person who could interfere with the demands of a company who wants to fly as much as possible. And management was not actually interested in licensed guys with their own opinion. They wanted to get the job done and as little interference from others. And industry wants to get rid of people with a license. They want to go for a maintenance organization who could control their own training and who would control who of the company they would license to do work for the maintenance organization. The main threats to us as aircraft engineers is that industry wants to cut costs. And a large part of operating an airline is maintenance costs for aircrafts. And if they can reduce maintenance costs, the profits will increase, or the losses will go less. And the industry wants to get rid of high-paid individual engineers. And the threat that is to us as engineers is they want to reduce training because that costs a lot of money, and they want to reduce the number of qualified people in an organization because they cost more salary than a mechanic without any license or training. There's some major topics. This is Part 66, which controls our licensing. It's Part 145, which control the way maintenance is done in a 145 maintenance organization. And it's Part 147, which is the regulation concerning the training of maintenance staff. Well, we want an interest because a lot of people in our maintenance organizations don't have a long-term vision of what's going to happen to them. And if companies get their message through EASA and FAA and other organizations that they want to reduce cost, that will have an effect on our long-term development as engineers and as highly trained professionals. And that's a threat to us all. And therefore, investing us in AEI, because as AEI we want to get the message out to our counterparts like EASA, FAA and national authorities that we want quality of maintenance and highly trained professionals. And if we don't get that, that will be a threat to our existence, and it will be a threat to safety. Well, first of all, AEI is a worldwide umbrella organization of aircraft engineers associations and unions. And if AEI represents us as engineers at the various agencies we deal with, like EASA, ICAO, IATA, and other organizations, if we want to bring the message of us engineers, we need input from our engineers from all over the world. And it should not be only my ideas of what's good for us. I need input from other organizations who say, in my country or in my region of the world, I've suffered from these problems. I want to take these messages to the table where we discuss these issues with those organizations like EASA. And that message can only come to us if we have enough engineers we represent. And at the moment we represent about 38,000 engineers worldwide. But there are a lot more out there. And it's a problem that in some countries, associations or unions are not allowed. And in other countries, engineers and maintenance technicians are member of a national union who doesn't have its sole purpose of defending the rights and the privileges of engineers. And if we have those engineers who don't have a representation at AEI, they can come to AEI as an individual member. And through the AEI regulations, they can bring their message to us as being the representatives of them at the various body. And the more widespread our membership is, the better we can represent this, because engineers should not compete with one another on the basis of bad training. If you have working conditions who are bad and poor in your country, that should not benefit that organization. We need to have all engineers throughout the world with a high level of training, good salaries, good working conditions. And that should be our goal as AEI. I would say to engineers and mechanics all over the world, get yourself organized, whether it's locally at unions or worldwide, as a member of AEI, as an associated member of AEI, but get yourself organized, because united we are strong, divided we are not.